Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. In this video I'm going to talk about the Terralabs map, mostly talk about the differences between leveling in Terralabs compared to other maps, my opinion on the accessibility of it, the future of it, and just some random information that I've acquired over the last, say, few weeks since the patch hit. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So yesterday I completed my 1 to 40 in labs. It was a really fun stream, but pretty much the rules that I had for the stream were very simple. I could only go to the labs map and everything else was in play. I didn't receive any handouts from anyone. It was purely everything I farmed myself whilst in the map. And it took me 30 hours and 30 minutes. Now, majority of this was spent just killing some raiders and getting out. I didn't try and clear the map completely. It was mostly try and get as many kills as you could in, say, 10 minutes, and then get out. So, because that initial spawn of all the raiders from hitting a few of the extracts made a larger portion of the actual raiders spawn initially, and then I'd try and hunt them down and kill them. Now, there were some raids where I'd get, maybe 10,000 XP in 10 minutes. Other raids I would die, and some raids I actually got, I think the best I got was about 27,000 XP in 6 minutes. I think it was about 6.5 minutes, and that was because it was around the quiet time of Australian servers, and so I would hit the extracts, they'd all start spawning around me. I've actually now discovered that they actually are attracted to gunfire, and I'm fairly confident. Some people will tell me that suppressors don't attract them though, but I was shooting into some glass windows whilst having the weapon suppressed, and they were still coming. So I would get them to swarm me at a doorway or in an area, and then hold an angle and just keep picking them off as quickly as possible, and then extract. And some of these runs, I got some really good XP. The first 4 hours, I got absolutely smashed. I think I was just trying to find my rhythm. I didn't really do any practice in lead up. Obviously, I played a lot of labs recently, but I didn't actually practice what would be the most efficient way. But by the end of it, I kind of had my pattern down, so I knew what I was doing. So, as a method for leveling, I would say if you're very good at killing raiders, it isn't too bad. Overall, though, doing quests is still going to be faster. Whilst getting those XP from raids was really good, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage because you're not getting all the quest items unlocked. Now, you could do some of them in a mixture. I would probably say skip some of the quest lines and then just go for the easy XP ones, being the Ragman and mechanic ones. If you could kind of get those two to happen at the same time as doing some lab runs, you could really punch out some solid XP very quickly. I don't know if you could get it, say, down to the 24-hour mark that I did with my solo 1 to 40 run, but it's definitely a possibility that it would work well. I still think, though, if you knew exactly what you're doing your quests as quickly as possible, there's no real random number generator, so RNG, for leveling with quests. If you can get the items off the flea market, you got the money aside, you can pretty much just get your quest done very quickly by running into a map, getting the items you need, getting out, and then worrying about PvP only for the quests that require you to get PvP done. But the labs map does bring in a lot of questions, so I know a lot of people saying that it will ruin the game if it's available at level 1 after a wipe. Now, a very common question I'm getting is, when is the next wipe? I have no idea. I would imagine it would be with patch 0.12, because that's around 4 months since the last time they did a wipe, which was on the 8th of November. I remember it because it's the day after my birthday. And usually they sit around the 3 to 4 month mark. So around the end of Feb, maybe patch 0.12 will hit, and that will be when the wipe is, but there's no confirmation. And I really do hope the devs hold this closer to their chest and don't just say, oh, we're wiping with patch 0.12 and it will be in 2 to 3 weeks. Last time that happened, it killed the player base. The game got really stale very quickly and no one really seemed to play it. So they only really need to give a week's notice. Like, in all honesty, it doesn't really affect us if the wipe's tomorrow or in 6 months. You know, like, I think most people just want to know a few days in advance so they can just blow any of the gear they got left. But overall, no one really knows and no one really needs to know until it's closer. Now, so if you were going to level straight off the wipe, there's been a lot of question about if the labs will be available. Now, from the information I've gathered, and none of this is official sources, but the labs is going to have some sort of restriction, being a key card to get in, or some sort of quest or level lock, and also that the individual rooms will have swipe cards to get into, which will have either a single use or a multiple use function. So, for example, the Arsenal storage room and the Arsenal security room, you won't be able to just go in there over and over again hundreds of times. It will be like a one-use thing. The loot, I'd imagine the loot table will be increased back to a really high number. So therefore, you go in there and you're making $500,000 or whatever a run from just that room or whatever it brings, which is a really cool concept. I like that idea, but that still begs more information on how we actually get into labs. The common consensus going around at the moment is it's either going to be quest locked or level locked. To be honest, I kind of wish there was a third option as well. What I've been thinking about is, make it so you can't go in there before level 20. There's a quest that unlocks it at level 20 or 30, whatever you want to make it. And then you complete that quest, and then you have access to going in there. It comes up on the map saying it's available for you to go into. But to be able to go in there, you need to have a key card. Now, this is just a theory I've been thinking of, and a method I believe would work really well. Let me know if you agree or not, but I think if you made these key cards drop, say, from the scav bosses, being Reshala on customs, Killer on interchange, and then when they add the new boss to Woods, can also spawn on that boss. It doesn't need to be 100% spawn rate, it could be less. And you give the key card a fairly solid monetary value, anywhere between 200,000 and 500,000 rubles, which means if you were going to sell them on the flea market, you're going to want to put it up higher than that amount anyway. So then for the people that want to farm labs, we'll say 200,000 rubles. Say I wanted to do 5 lab runs in a row, I would need to buy, say, 5 of them off the flea market. If they were at cost value, they'd be at 200,000. So I spend 1 million rubles to go into the labs 5 times. This would make going in there a risk to me because I don't want to just waste 1 million rubles. So I'd want to go in geared. It's going to stop hatcheting, probably pistol runs as well, and then people will be more inclined to go in with gear. What this also promotes is you have it so the squad leader is the one that has to pay the fee, being the card, to get into the raid, and then that person can invite everyone else in the group to their party, and the squad leader can click next, give the key card over, and start the raid. This would also make it so, and by the way, these key cards would be single use. It's forcing the people to go in with smart decisions and not just charge in and looking for loot. Because if they're going in with a group, well, do they go in for 5-man, kill a heap of raiders and get out, and then therefore the loot's kind of sparsed out between 5 people? Or do they go in with a 2 or 3-man so they've got more opportunity to get loot out? These are just some of the ideas that have been bouncing through my head. But overall, there's no concrete information. I'm sure there's some information that's been official going around, but I haven't really been able to find it. It's a really cool map. I love this map to bits. The issues I see with having it just as a level lock or a quest lock is most players will probably just get to that level and then go, all right, I can now hatchet run or pistol run labs, get that those items, being the expensive LEDXs and all the items for the thick item cases and stuff like that, make a heap of money, and then they don't really need. It's not going to really stop the hatchet and pistol epidemics within labs. Now, I don't see any problem with people doing it. I personally think it's a really boring way to play. But the issue I do see with it, and this was brought up by another streamer, Cuddy, he believes hatcheters are killing the game. And I don't want to put his words out into a negative light. He's an absolutely amazing streamer. But his theory is they're taking up player slots. And I agree. So if Labs has a 10-player max, and then you go into Labs, there's 10 players, but 6 of them go in with a pistol or a hatchet, or even, say, 8. Like, it's not unreasonable to think that some of the lab runs I've been going in recently has up to 8 people carrying just a hatchet or a pistol. We'll say a melee weapon and a pistol. Which means that could have been 6 to 8 people that were carrying full gear and making this awesome combat. Instead, they're just people running around looking for loot. If you just make it level locked or quest locked with no other exception to go in there, it does make the issue of people going in there just like normal, like right now. And this is meant to be an end game raid, thing for us to do for the high, tier stuff. Now, if we don't have that option, or if we have that option too readily available to us, then we have an issue with that. The other side of things you could say is, instead of having a key card that you got to get from Reshala or Killer, would be you just pay a monetary fund to get into the Terralabs. And this is another interesting concept because it's a money pit. So it's like paying tax on the flea market. There's ways in the game that we spend money to reduce the amount of money in the economy of the game. And these are important to keep a game feeling like there's a risk and a reward. If you have too much money in the game, everything comes too readily available, and then it's just boring and easy. Not easy in the respect that it's easy to win, just too easy to get stuff. So these money sinks are important, and that would be an option. But I just feel like if you just put a money requirement to go in there, then it's probably going to just become too easy just to farm it still anyway. You just go in with 200, you're spending 200k, you just make sure you get 200k before you get out. You could still do the whole pistol idea and run around and try and find a couple of items if you've got some keys. So there's those options there. The idea I do like about the killing Killer and Rashala and not being able to do it as a hatcheter, right? So it's also forcing people to go on the customs and interchange and eventually woods when the woods boss, scav boss comes in. It's forcing people to go into those maps with gear as well because they'll want to kill those scav bosses to get those items of high value. It's just the reason why there's a lot of hatcheters in the game is because it's a way to have little risk for moderate to high reward. If you can make it so there's more incentive to go in geared, then it's like a passive way to make it so there's less people going with hatchets and that. Because right now, it's too easy to make money in labs, and then you've got issues with people going with hatchets and pistols, which is making it less enticing for the PvP side. And I'm fairly confident that interchange has actually been boosted in the amount of items going on there. There just seems to be a lot more stuff going on. A lot of squads going into interchange, which is really cool. Interchange has been probably one of my favorite maps for PvP. Some of my best battles have been in there because it's a very intricate area for fighting. So, look, guys, I don't want to ramble on too long. I really enjoyed my 1 to 40 in labs. I did it right now purely for the fact that I know that labs is going to be a map that's going to have a restriction to get in there, and I didn't know if I'd be able to do it again in the future, but it was good fun to do. But besides that, guys, I'd like to hear your feedback on these things that's going on. It's just an interesting topic. It's been one we've spoken about a lot over the last, say, week on my stream and in my comments below. So, guys, feel free to hit me up on my live stream or the comments below. I really do like to talk about this stuff. Finally, though, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for future content. I stream on Twitch 6 days a week. Go down to the link below. Give me a follow over there. I've got all my highlights from the 1 to 40 stream coming out over the next couple of days. I've been getting that all organized for you guys. And lastly, I'll see you next time. Just want to tell you how I'm feeling. Gonna make you understand. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna run around and desert you.